Bradley J. Travel. Today it's Luxor. Luxor is a big-time destination, and we'll get to the monuments and the history in just a bit. But first, a word about the hotel. This is an uncharacteristically expensive hotel, but every once in a while you splurge, right? This is the Winter Palace. It's pretty historic, and a lot of famous people have stayed there, including Aga Khan and Winston Churchill. And Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile in 2004 featured this hotel. It's impossible to verbally explain or even show in a video the historic intensity of Luxor. They call it the greatest open-air museum in the world. It's a big complex of monuments from back in the time of Thebes, which is when the pharaohs were at the height of their power from the 16th to the 11th centuries BC. Some of the things that you can experience there include Luxor Temple and the tombs of the nobles, sometimes called the Valley of the Nobles, and the Valley of the Kings. The temple was built by Amenhotep III back in 1390 to 1352 BC, and Ramses 1279 to 1213. So it's really, really old, over 1,000 years before Christ. Tombs of the nobles include 400 tombs of Egyptian nobles from the 6th dynasty all the way up to the Roman period. And the Valley of the Kings is over on the west bank of Luxor. It's been the site of royal burials from about 2100 BC until the pharaohs of the New Kingdom, which was about 1550 to 1069 BC. But it's about a lot more than just the dates. It's about the vibe. It's about the river. It's about the people. Here's the guy who sold me my hookah. He wanted 200, I got it for 40. Could I have gotten it cheaper? Maybe. But there's a fine line between haggling and being a jerk. I didn't want to be a jerk. You know, back when I was a kid, I went to Sunday school, and they had these workbooks that had Bible stories in them and pictures that you would color in. And I swear, the Nile at Luxor looks exactly, in my mind, like those pictures in that workbook. The Nile at Luxor lives up to every fantasy you've had about those times. If you're like me, when you travel, you really want to be transported, not just geographically, but culturally and chronologically and spiritually, and this is really, really tough to beat. On the banks of the Nile are folks that will take you out in a boat called a felucca, and when I did it, it was about $40 for an hour ride. My only regret on the trip is that I didn't do it more, for longer, and go further away. And if I could go back to anywhere I've been, it would be right here. When the sun goes down behind the palm trees on the banks of the Nile, it looks huge. And that's probably because of the particulate matter in the air in the form of dust. You know, I feel kind of bad because all the monuments don't mean as much to me as being out here on the Nile. This footage right here is probably my most valuable footage, my most valuable images of any I've ever taken on any travel. And there's not much about this that couldn't have taken place 3,500 years ago. These boats, these feluccas, haven't changed much since ancient Egyptian times. They don't have a keel, they have a centerboard, which can be raised when you come across a sandbar. I've been taking sailing lessons and I'm terrible, but I think a great goal would be to learn how to sail well enough to come back here and rent a felucca, if that's possible, and sail myself on the Nile River. Wouldn't that be a bucket list event? If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, click on the bell to get notified of future posts, and remember to travel lightly, my friends.